The Arctic, a desolate expanse of white, a land of unforgiving beauty. The Aurora station stood sentinel, a lone outpost daring to pierce the infinite sky. For months it had been a beacon of human endeavor, pushing the boundaries of science in this frozen desert. Then silence. All transmissions ceased. The scientists, their research vanished. Days turned into weeks, the silence growing louder. The world held its breath, clinging to a sliver of hope. A rescue team, hardened by experience and the unforgiving cold, was assembled. Their mission: uncover the fate of the Aurora station and its inhabitants. Little did they know the horrors that awaited them. The journey was arduous, the biting wind, a constant threat, the isolation, a heavy shroud. As they finally approached the station, a sense of foreboding gripped their hearts. The silence was deafening. The station stood stark against the white landscape, a monument to some unseen terror. The rescue team, their breath misting in the frigid air, breached the main entrance. An unnatural stillness greeted them. The air hung heavy, thick with the stench of fear and something ancient. Equipment lay abandoned, half-finished experiments left undisturbed. The silence was broken only by the crunch of boots on the metal floor. Each step was a descent into an abyss of the unknown. It was as if the station itself was holding its breath. There were no signs of struggle, no bloodstains, no indication of what befell the scientists. Only the eerie silence and the growing sense that something was terribly wrong. The team pushed deeper into the heart of the station, their unease growing with each passing moment. They discovered the recordings by accident, a forgotten audio log left behind in the station's makeshift lab. It spoke of a discovery, something ancient and evil, unearthed from the ice. The voice, belonging to Dr. Lena Petrova, cracked with fear. An entity that whispered to their minds, played on their fears. The recordings were a descent into madness. The rescue team listened, their blood running cold. The logs ended abruptly, leaving the rescue team with more questions than answers. The entity described by Dr. Petrova was a malevolent presence, something beyond human comprehension. It spoke of forgotten gods, of ancient rituals, of a darkness that predated humanity itself. The team ventured deeper into the station, their footsteps echoing in the silence. The air grew colder, the metallic tang of fear clinging to their tongues. The feeling of being watched intensified, as if unseen eyes were following their every move. They discovered strange symbols etched onto the walls, ancient glyphs that seemed to writhe and shift before their eyes. The ice itself seemed to whisper, carrying the echoes of something vast and malevolent. The station, once a beacon of scientific progress, was now a tomb, haunted by a darkness beyond their understanding. The entity's influence was subtle at first, a whisper at the edge of hearing, a fleeting shadow in the periphery. Then the nightmares began, vivid, terrifying dreams that bled into their waking hours. The team members grew withdrawn, suspicious of one another. The isolation, the relentless cold, and the lurking fear were taking their toll. Paranoia took root. Arguments erupted over insignificant details. The team, once united, began to fracture under the weight of their shared terror. The entity preyed on their doubts, turning them against each other. Captain Sergei Ivanov struggled to maintain control. He knew the dangers of isolation, but this was different. Something ancient, insidious, burrowing into their souls. The storm hit without warning, a raging blizzard, a howling tempest of snow and ice that cut off all communication with the outside world. The station groaned under the onslaught, the wind screaming like a banshee through the corridors. The entity was awake. The temperature plummeted, the cold seeping into the very marrow. The power flickered, plunging the station into darkness. Panic set in. Captain John Miller, The entity's presence was now undeniable, a suffocating dread that permeated every corner of the station. The strange symbols on the walls pulsed with an eerie light. The ice itself seemed to crack and groan as if something was trying to break free. The rescue team, trapped and isolated, was at the mercy of a force beyond their comprehension. They huddled together for warmth and comfort, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of emergency flares. The storm raged on, a physical manifestation of the terror that gripped their hearts. One by one, they succumbed to the entity's influence, their minds unraveling under the strain. Lieutenant Sarah Thompson, Captain Ivanov, his resolve crumbling, watched in horror as his team, his friends, were consumed by the darkness. Their eyes glazed over, their voices taking on a chilling monotone, repeating the entity's words, its promises of power and oblivion. Captain John Miller. He was alone. The station, once a place of hope and discovery, was now a prison of ice and fear. The storm showed no signs of abating, the howling wind a constant reminder of his isolation. With a last desperate act of defiance, Captain Ivanov activated the station's emergency beacon. His message was garbled, fragmented by the storm, but a single phrase cut through the static. "Whatever you do, don't dig." Captain John Miller. Then silence. The beacon went dead, swallowed by the storm. The fate of the Aurora station and its rescuer remained unknown, a chilling testament to the horrors that lie dormant beneath the ice. Captain Ivanov's final warning, a chilling echo in the vast emptiness of the Arctic, a plea to leave the ancient evil undisturbed.